Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why we ended a $3,000 a month SMMA client contract for the following reasons. So guys, to give you a bit of background on this client was a service-based business that also started an e-commerce brand. So his e-commerce brand was very heavily related to the service that he offered, and his service-based business was a very popular business on the East Coast of America. He had very high-profile celebrity clients for this business. It was in the cosmetic industry, and each client that was brought to him was worth in between $1,500 and around $5,000. So this was extremely high ticket. So essentially what our plan was for him was to bring in new leads for his service-based business to increase the revenue, the customer base for his service-based business, whilst also launching this startup e-commerce brand in order to start getting sales in. And we ran into a number of problems with each side of the business. So it was split into two. $3,000 to manage both sides of this was a year and a half ago. Our pricing's changed quite dramatically now, just down to how our business has grown over the past year and a half. So service-based business to bring in new leads, e-commerce brand for his product that was very heavily related to his service-based business to increase their sales. And we ran into a number of problems. So the first problem was the e-commerce brand. So this was a startup e-commerce brand. And if you've watched our qualifying business owners video, we are very careful with startups. We're not careful with startups if there's a proof of concept there. So if they've proven that there's a demand for the product's been, shown to work, it's a quality product, the price of that product is correct, there's testimonials of the product, and the product has a proof of concept. It's shown to be an in-demand service for a particular audience, and there's a demand there. And we're just going to put that product in front of more people and dress it up in the best way in order to increase sales. That was our plan. However, when we start working with any business, and you'll know this from one of our past videos when we were discussing how we increase the top line revenue of an e-commerce brand by 25% on the first day without running any ads, what we do when we work with any e-commerce brand is do a full brand review, a full brand story review, and a full kind of brand messaging review. And what that essentially is to make sure that the brand story matches how the product's being portrayed. For example, if you're working with a client that has a independent, really strong woman behind it, and you're not showcasing that through your marketing when it's a product that's for women, you're missing a massive trick there. The same way with this guy, he was a gay guy from the East Coast of America producing e-commerce brand targeted towards gay men, and that wasn't coming across on his website, and that wasn't coming across on any of his products or any of his marketing material, which was a big problem. So essentially what we asked him to do was produce loads of content for a webinar, a free training, multiple free trainings, YouTube videos, content for his Instagram. We needed him to build his profile so that he could be seen as the figure behind the e-commerce brand, because he needed a brand story to really take this brand off, because everyone else and all of his competitors had a strong personal brand behind that product. And rightly so, because he had a very successful service-based business on the East Coast of America that he could leverage that brand against. And he was kind of a celebrity in his own right within the industry, because he worked with some incredibly high profile A-list celebrities for that service-based business. It would be stupid not to leverage that. However, the problems we came into was he just didn't want to produce the content. He just didn't have it was taking way too long to get the content back. It was taking way too long to make any kind of decisions on this in order for us to go ahead with our marketing campaigns. And it got to a point where we just didn't have time for it. If you were a beginner agency, that would probably be fine for you. However, once you get to a point where you've got 20, 30, 40 clients on your agency books, there comes a point where you can't be just chasing people to get the project underway. And that was causing us to delay our payments because we weren't doing stuff until it got done. And it just became a bit of a mess. Not only that, there was some major issues with the product. And this all led from, because he had such a successful service-based business, he thought he could just transfer the high fees he was charging for a service-based business and charge high service fees for his e-commerce brand just because he was in that kind of luxury market. However, the products that he had bought in bulk for his e-commerce brand and branded to his brand, they just weren't luxury enough. They were very cheap. That they weren't something that could warrant the price tag that he had attached to it. Not only that, the product was designed in a way that wasn't matching his target audience. Like I said, he was targeting gay men for this e-commerce brand. However, the product was designed for straight women. it just really didn't make sense. And the continuity of his brand, his personal brand, his story, his message, and who he wanted to target the brand to didn't match the actual product. The pricing was way out. It was way too expensive compared to the brands that had been around for 20 years. And you'll find that with a lot of startup brands, they'll sit there and go, right, I'm going to own a luxury brand in this industry. However, there's no substance behind it to make it a luxury brand. They've just decided one day that they're going to do it and charge ridiculous margins on a product that has no substance behind it to be a luxury brand. It's like a startup handbag brand charging the same price as a Louis Vuitton bag, and then advertising that bag to the same people that would buy Louis Vuitton, and they'll say, well, why would I buy that startup brand that I've never heard of for the same price I could buy a Louis Vuitton brand, when Louis Vuitton have invested in Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, some of the biggest supermodels in the world to model for them, and that warrants, and getting loads of celebrity endorsements, and that warrants the luxury brand behind Louis Vuitton. So they're going to pay that, not to pay the same price for a brand they've never heard, just because one day you've decided, oh, I'm going to start a luxury brand. It's a real big problem in the startup e-commerce space for people that don't understand how to market their businesses and really run a luxury brand and warrant that price tag. So that was another issue. We were charging a luxury price for a non-luxury product without any substance behind the product that warranted in it, which warranted that price tag. So we eventually stepped away from the e-commerce side of things, because in order for him to work on the product, work on his brand messaging and get the content together, because we physically couldn't sell the content. We simply couldn't sell that e-commerce product without more content, without more training videos from him, without really testing the product, the offer, the price, the placement. The website wasn't very good. It was a bit of a mess. So we walked away from that side of thing, and then we can move on to the lead gen. So the lead gen side of things was extremely successful. Like I said, the services he was providing was worth between $1,500 and $5,000 each. We were bringing in between 6 and 8 leads a day for a very small budget. I think it was around $50 a day for 6 or 7 leads in the center of NYC for a really high ticket service. And this wasn't just phone number, email, name. This was problem. This was picture of the problem that they're facing when they want to get booked in. Starting a conversation over SMS, replying to an email, all of this stuff that we had for these leads. However, he just wasn't ringing them. Now, we're going to be introducing a video very shortly on Go High Level. If you've been hearing about Go High Level, I'm sure you have if you're in the SMMA space. It's an unbelievable platform. Fun fact, everything that Go High Level does, you can do with other softwares, which we've been doing for ages, but Go High Level does do it all in one place and adds a few extra features, which is really nice. And what Go High Level essentially does is help you with that conversion process, because what a lot of people struggle with and why a lot of people lose clients is that they don't help the client convert that lead into a customer. It's just simply not good enough to just get loads of leads in for a business and then be like, well, you didn't close any of them, that's your fault. No, it's also your responsibility to help them on that conversion process. And if your client isn't willing to give them a call, you're just going to waste your time. Fun fact, I recently bought a new car and I entered my information on 5 or 6 different websites selling the exact same car, the exact same mileage, the exact same price within reason. So I submitted all of my information on all of these websites. I got 4 callbacks the next day. One person didn't call me back, and one person called me back 6 minutes later after I submitted my information. And guess which one I went with? I went with the person that called me within 6 minutes, because for every minute after the 5-minute period, your chances of getting that lead on the phone dramatically decrease. So within the first 5 minutes, you've got a 90% chance of getting them on the phone. After 5 minutes of that lead coming through and you giving them a call, so if you give them a call 30 minutes, 2 days later, your chance goes sub 20% of getting them on the phone. Whereas if you contacted them in the first 5 minutes, your chances are well above 90%. Not only that, your chances, if you ring them every day for at least 5 days, your chances increase from 90% to actually get them on the phone and book them in, which is why it's so important that before you sign with a client, you make it so apparent to them that their follow-up process is going to have to be on point. They're going to have to contact them in a timely manner. They're going to have good sales skills on the phone in order to book them in as a meeting. They're going to have to contact them regularly for those people that don't actually answer the phone. All of those things this client just wasn't willing to do at all. He wasn't even willing to call them at all. He just wanted them to automatically book in because he had such a successful business. He didn't feel like he needed to do it. However, when you bring your business online, those customers, Yeah, they might see some testimonials. They might see on the website that you're endorsed by Forbes or all of these different magazines or outlets. However, that doesn't mean anything to the person booking the appointment. So you can't go about it in a very entitled manner. You need to be chasing each and every lead in order to actually convert that lead into a booking. Because if you don't have that process involved, you don't have the follow-up process your end, you don't make the client ensure that they're going to be contacting them in a timely manner and multiple times over the next 5 days, they're just not going to convert, and they're not going to keep you as their advertising agency because they're not going to be converting those leads. Even though it's not your fault, they're just not going to be converting them. So that's eventually, guys, why we ended the contract, and it was a big contract at the time. Especially, we've got clients that pay us more than that on a retainer now. However, at the time, that was our biggest retained clients for an e-commerce brand and for lead gen, and we just had to walk away from it because it just wasn't working. And he didn't want to walk away. He wanted to keep up. He had lots of money to invest in it. However, we weren't comfortable piling loads of his ad spend into an e-commerce brand and a service-based business if he wasn't willing to pull his weight and help us, because we don't want to work with clients that aren't seeing results because of what they're doing when we're trying our absolute hardest for them. And that's why we walked away. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, guys. We're going to do more of these videos where we're kind of explaining some of our experiences with some of our clients, some of our success stories, some of the times when we've gone really wrong in our agency, because I think those videos, more than the tutorial videos, are actually the stuff where you take the most value from. And you can really see that we are running and living and breathing the agency from people that actually do have clients and can tell you these really personal stories about, right, this happened to our agency this week. This happened a year ago, which you can take this lesson from. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, guys. If you've not watched our previous video, there'll be a link in the description and there. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.